we live automatic lives. That's why every day seems like the same day. It happens na napapagod tayo because we're human. Naubos yung tangke natin. Even fire needs some time to rest.
And for fire to realize its mission to brighten the room, it needs to go through darkness. When people see you dance this way, right? The passion, the happiness, the joy, the mission, and you're true to it, you're authentic, they help you
Yeah.
I will always anchor on that narrative.
What narrative?
That it doesn't matter if I'm Filipina, if whatever my nationality is, wala siyang bearing sa narrative mo. If you wanna help people, if you wanna share your gifts to people, we are all human beings with our faculties here and our organs and our body and our spirit, and it is our responsibility to share it to the world.
Right. You are in the business of inspiring people. And you're now known as one of the top NLP trainers, one of the most transformative speakers we have around. But before Cherry became the Cherry-Pua Africa, aka the woman on fire, how did Cherry become Cherry? This is the time for us to go deep with real conversations from real people, getting real ideas and real lessons. Hi, I'm Ralph Lyko, and this is Bold Souls. All right, so we're now getting started. This is an amazing opportunity that I get to be with one of the people I'd love to interview. When I first thought of Bold Souls first episodes, you are one of those people talaga na are just top of my list. Because I've already seen Coach Cherry perform live, but I think when it comes to really like the mission or the point of this podcast is really to go deep diving on transformation, on self-growth, on personal development. I think we need to put a limelight to people who are actually doing it, but do it with so much more relatability. And that's why I invited someone that I really would love to get started this with, and that is no other than Coach Cherry-Pua Africa. Thank you very much for coming.
Hey, thank you so much, Ralph, for inviting me. It's an honor.
It is.
I'm very excited to just have this chat with you.
I know. I'm also excited because I know we're going to go to a long discussion of many things that are close to our hearts. Coach Cherry, I'm always at awe of women who are doing things that they're very passionate about, because I have a sister who's also a woman of power in a sense that she's our CEO, and then I can see how like, wow, this woman is such an inspiring woman. But I do know that there's a need for us to give a stage for more women, that they can be able to communicate who they are so that more women can actually see themselves in people like you. And that's why I said Coach Cherry must be here. You are in the business of inspiring people. And you're now known as one of the top NLP trainers, one of the most transformative speakers we have around. But before Cherry became the Cherry-Pua Africa, aka the woman on fire, how did Cherry become Cherry?
This is probably the hardest question you're gonna ask me, right?
Yeah, because it's a long story and everything connecting. Yeah.
Not I am just a girl.
Not yet a woman. Kidding. Yes.
How did I get into this?
Yes. What made you, basically?
From the very start, I've always been a very passionate person. You call me, woman of power, you're saying. I think it's woman of passion, no? I'd really like to consider myself more a passionate person and a powerful person, and I hope through the passion I could probably express some power there. I've loved people. That was not my first venture. That was not my first adult venture. I was working with products, right? And then I love your show title, Bold Souls, because I really love to work with people and souls and, courage and everything. So, I thought I wanted to be able to just share, a part of, this transformation story for people to find out and to discover their highest version. So I was thinking of, getting into that. So I was thinking, should I be a teacher? Should I, do all of these things? So that's when I decided to get out of the corporate race.
Okay. That was how many years when you were...
Oh my goodness.
Because you seem so like in your early 30s right now. What was your... I know that you have a daughter, kids, right? Or no, I think they're now adults.
Two daughters.
Yeah.
Two daughters, and one is graduating college in May.
And
in a few months' time, so that's gonna tell you how old I am.
I know if we add it up, but you don't look like that.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm already 52.
No way! Like, this is not orchestrated, okay? No way! Yeah, wow, you're so young, and your energy is very young and fresh and vibrant. And
it's an intention, Ralph. A lot of people are asking me, and I was just having this conversation with the titas of, my friend titas are saying, don't you just feel old of this, your body's aching and everything? I will say, I don't feel that, and I think it's because of where I work, the people I work with, the people I surround myself with. It just makes me a lot younger. And every time we do all of this training, transformation rallies, all of these sessions, it just, fires me up as well. So the people think I'm giving so much when they're giving me so much more back in return. So, I will always come back home 1 month, 2 months, 3 months younger. And that fuels my own soul.
I love listening to you. When you said come back home, I actually also tried to link that for the quick second. I think because you're home, that's why you're not aging. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who are doing things that they do not love.
Yes.
And when you said you're doing transformation rallies, so I'm doing all of these events and seminars because that's what you love. Mm-hmm. And it becomes so natural for you. There's less of a friction of who you are and what you want to be because there's somehow the gap is lessened. I want to know, what do you think is your main goal what's your end game with you becoming now a transformative speaker? Because I remember reading about your profile that you were working with products and then you moved and transitioned into this world of transformative learning, coaching, seminars. What is the end game? I mean, why are you here? Why are you doing this for us?
End game, I don't know. I think I wake up every day because it just makes me closer to the possible end game. I really don't know it. I mean, I'm also in a constant search to discover myself every day. And I began my career, for example, working with products. I don't think it's a mistake. I just think it's part of my journey. We are all on a constant hero's journey. I call it the hero's journey, right?
Yeah, Joseph Campbell.
Yes, Joseph Campbell, and it's really just like this. We are in a story. We begin our call for adventure, and then we go back home after, and then there's another hero's journey. No, we answer to the call of journey. We face certain ordeals. It transforms us. We come back home better person. And every year, it's like, every year, maybe to us, the ending is December 31, or to other people, it's a different kind of ending. But every time we put a period or exclamation point of the hero's journey, we enter a new one.
Right.
It's like a rebirth, right?
It is.
So when I ended my journey, and perhaps I would come back to another phase there, but when I ended my journey in product marketing, I realized, there's always this call for adventure to work with people.
Yeah.
And there wasn't just any looking back. This is a very long hero's journey for me. I haven't reached home yet. But you were saying that, through that journey, you always feel at home. Because there's no either conflict. It's like you're just so at home.
You can breathe.
You can breathe. You are with your natural gifts. You open your channels and everything just seems, the universe just seems to conspire to help you.
Yeah.
When people see you dance this way, right? The passion, the happiness, the joy, the mission, and you're true to it, you're authentic. They help you,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
Oh, wait, sadali lang. Kasi I'm getting a little emotional because you're correct. You're saying every right word that resonates with me as a person who aspires to do this job of really helping people, inspiring people. Kasi when somehow your alignment that you're finally home and that you're actually finally doing this, and there's like, it's hard, when you're fusing your true self to who you are right now. It's hard kasi that's a hero's journey kasi you're gonna go through a lot of obstacles. And then eventually later on, you realize, tama nga ako, I'm in the right path, but it's always ups and downs. And to hear you talk that this is exactly what you're going through somehow validates the journey that I'm having as a seeker. And that's why I do not say that I'm an inspirer like you as well. That's not my skill. I'm more of I'm just really empathic towards people, and you want to use my creativity to build something along the way. So thank you for sharing that. And Coach Cherry, so you said earlier that you do not know your end game. I love how from a person who would people say she has all the answers because she seems like she has all the answers, right? But you said, I do not know my end game, but I'm here because I'm expressing my gift. This is where I'm in. This is currently what I'm doing, and I'm passionate about it along the way. So my question is, this business that you're in, changing people, changing lives, it's very difficult because I think this is coming from a deeper place. Now, sana they get to these people who are still in this world of like they are looking for themselves. They're finding themselves, trying to change. I hope they can see what I see. I hope they can also change. And I know I have it, but I could not yet. What do you think makes it hard for people to change, coming from your POV as a coach?
Number one, I don't think I'm changing lives. They are changing their own lives, right? We are just facilitating. Parang alam mo, in our business, in our mission, di ba? Parang MC tayo. We are like the host.
Yeah.
We probably were trained or coached to ask the right questions so that we're able to let them express their true selves. But who they are, it's their decision. It's their decision. So why change is difficult? It becomes difficult when it becomes compliance, requirement. Like I do a lot of corporate work, and a lot of leaders will tell me, we need to change. I was telling them, for as long as you make change, the narrative of change becomes a requirement, compliance, they're gonna do it. Self-preservation will make them do it. I don't want to lose my job. I want to make sure I still have a job tomorrow when I wake up. So I'm gonna follow, but it's gonna be short-lived. Because people are gonna feel there's inner conflict. But when you bring change to the level of identity, to the level of spirit and mission, change becomes long-lasting. But it's harder kasi.
It is.
It's harder kasi change cerebrally is very easy to receive.
Yeah.
All of us are
They're aware of
people.
it. That's interesting. I love to go to that journey.
There's a framework.
Yes,
You give them a framework for change. And there are so many frameworks for change. I mean, whatever. So they will cerebrally take it. But their heart, their gut, their enteric brain, the gut, right? It's the gut is a place for our core identity, for our self-preservation, for our movement.
Okay.
So I know I have to change, but maybe I'm not really changing. I'm not moving at all. Like I want to lose weight, but I'm just thinking and imagining my body.
Totoo yan.
In the end,
Common story yan.
di ba? Because the gut is not there. So we need to be aligned.
Okay, when you say the gut, what do you exactly mean? Because I know the gut, that's really more of our tummy. No, if for the lack of a better term, that's. But I also remember that there's a trying to to make to be clever, gut feel.
Yes.
Right? So gut feel is like the knowing, the groundedness of your knowing. What exactly do you mean when it's not aligned with your gut?
We have three brains.
Okay.
That's neurology. Okay, it's
Okay.
not uninvented. Nice to just hear. We have three brains. We have three organs. We call our, di ba, pag touch your brain, di ba? Point to your brain, touch your
Yes.
brain like that. But nobody touch your brain or point to your brain, but the heart is a brain. It's an organ. It's neurons.
It has neurons.
We have neurons in our heart. The gut is a brain. We have neurons in our gut. Hence, when, let's say, for example, I ask you to do something and you get very nervous, like, go, Ralph, bungee jump. I don't know. Do you bungee jump?
I did one time
so
in
wrong,
Macau.
wrong.
Yeah.
So something that you are really not comfortable doing and you're asked to do that, then you feel butterflies.
It does, yes.
Those are your neurons telling you, hey, you're not going to be safe, right?
Or doing something unfamiliar.
Yes. And then you're going to be, you're going to die 1,000 deaths because you're going to be shamed to death, right? So
Yes.
because of self-preservation, hindi natin siya gagawin. And that's our gut brain being intelligent and telling us, hey, take care of yourself because, you're going to lose face because of that. You have neurons in your gut. It protects you.
It's just mind-blowing. I didn't know that you have neurons. I know that's an important part because gut is really also another brain daw, with the many leaders that I've been listening to. But I didn't know it actually has neurons.
Yes.
It has brain capacities.
And it is very visceral. Meaning yan, kaya pansinin mo, Ralph, pag nagpapamassage ka, minamassage head mo, minamassage mo, but wala nagmamassage ng abdomen mo.
Yeah, kasi it's kilite.
It's kilite. Plus, when it gets a little bit provoked, and your repressed emotions are in your guts, and you don't like that to come out in the form of bad air.
Okay. Seriously.
So, diba, all of the, kaya nga ang dami mo mga inhibitions, for example, it's all in the gut. You should do it. Your brain, your head brain is telling you, it just makes sense. You're going to probably earn a lot of money or you're going to, achieve something. Your heart, you're passionate about it. Your values tell you to do it, but you don't have the courage to do it because courage lies in the gut brain. So when your gut is telling you, hey, stop, or is trying to preserve you, right, because you're not going to be safe, then you are feeling a little bit internally conflicted.
So ano gagawin natin when our gut says, wait, this is scary, unfamiliar, danger is in the way, should you do something wrong along the way? What do you do?
We train our brains.
We train our brains. There's 3 brains.
Yes. Diba, at the end of the day, we're only trained or not trained, right? So let's say, for example, the gut is afraid of doing something. You say, I'm gonna bring it, that's unconscious eh.
Right.
Diba? And you're gonna bring it to your consciousness. No, I'm gonna do at least one thing out of my comfort zone.
Right.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna be afraid, but
Yeah.
mga cliche natin na be afraid, but still go
for it.
Go for it. Diba?
Quote in Pinterest.
Diba? So we read that, but that's it. Na parang your gut is telling you, hey, be afraid. Come on. But fear sometimes is joy sucking, right? It's
It does.
diba? It prevents you from living the life. It is limiting. Diba? I guess then hence freedom. There's a lot of liberation when you're able to just move through your fear. And so you consciously tell yourself, what you do is you become conscious. You affirm, you wake up, you manifest, all of these things, whatever it is that you're doing, you just go for it. Right. Even though you're going to be afraid. And when you anticipate problems, kasi I anticipate rejection or anticipate people laughing at me, you're able to prepare for it eh. Diba? So your gut tells you, hey, you're gonna fail, so you prepare for it. You anticipate. That's anticipatory mindset thinking, right? To be able to see the future, what are your interferences? You anticipate whatever problem there is, then you plan for it. Then at least you mitigate the fear or the risk, right? Then you're able to go through it. You increase the chances of success. So these all just the work of conscious unconsciousness, being able to bring to your unconscious things that you want to do every day by repeating it and being able to bring the unconscious to your consciousness naman by keep on talking to yourself. You keep talking to yourself so that you're able to do things that, that you wanted to change.
Right. Okay, so karamihan na mga magulang, people of a certain age, they also use this certain badge na I know better because napagdaanan ko na yan. Ang haba na, pabalik na lang, papunta ka pa lang, pabalik na ako. And that for me is, I think, to be honest, tell me if I'm wrong, might not be a really good way to look at how maturity looks like. Because maturity is still awareness. Because still, whatever age ka pa, you're still continually evolving.
Yes. I think when you say I know better because of all the experiences I've gone through, right? There's a better, higher version of that. I
Okay.
know better because I know that I know nothing. I did say that. I think Socrates said that, right? It means it's the awareness that I know nothing, and hence, please, world, teach me, right? And the person who is emptier is the person who will learn the most, right? And you become the bigger person, you become the higher person. You suspend judge, and it's very hard because we
It
all have filters. Yeah, we all have filters. We have perceptual filters, cultural filters, linguistic filters, all of these things. So all of a sudden we're saying, I'm not judging you, but in truth, no one naman is not judging. It's just that you're not expressing your judgment. Yeah, but to be consciously aware, no, na parang to put yourself in a room and say, I'm gonna listen today because I am going to grow as a result of everyone here. Because the most intelligent person is not the person, but the most intelligent is the room. That's the wisest. You add everybody's thinking, collective thinking, then you're able to then come up with the best idea. And the person who understands that and kung kaya niyang i-apply yan, siya ang pinaka highest person, di ba, in the room. And who's that person? The person who doesn't know anything. Kasi you're receiving, you're listening, you're paying attention to the micro expression, to the language. You're paying attention to his own filters. Then you're saying, oh, kaya na pala siya ganyan mag-isip kasi yan yung filter niya. And when we coach, diba, we need to be able to be able to single out this filter so that we know, that's the reason why perhaps, if you're able to adjust this thing, everything changes. Kaya nga ang change, we need to demystify transformation and change. Hindi siya parang, I need to change, kailangan ko pumunta sa mountain, kailangan ko mag-reflect, di ba? Parang,
Yes.
you
Magbakasyon.
Magbakasyon. Because it's not possible dahil busy tayo, we postpone change. Until, my goodness, December 31 na pala, hindi pa ako nag-change. Then may resolution tayo, mag-New Year's resolution tayo, and 80% of the New Year's resolution will not happen. Yeah, so parang it's just a cycle. We get caught in the cycle because we assign certain parameters to change when change can be very easy. I mean, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but we want to change. Let's make a conscious effort, intention. We wake up in intention. I'm gonna be a better person.
Right.
I'm gonna be a kinder person today. So how do you do that? In very small 1 millimeter moves, for example. I'm gonna listen more to people. For the leaders, diba? Pagka nagkakaroon ng meeting, I'm gonna listen more and I'm gonna, not just cosmetically listen or not interrupt people when they're talking.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make them. I'm gonna take time to wait for an insight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be patiently waiting.
Does this also mean na kasi right now, there's a lot of ways to change. Kasi when you're in a bookstore and you get all of this access to people's different book and authors of those books, minds, and they have all of the advices. And sometimes you also have a coach, diba, to help you understand as well and to provide you with insight. And it's like sobrang daming information around. And I think that's why also ang daming mga advices that it becomes even harder for people to like, which advice should I take? For people, kunyari ikaw, coach, you want to be heard properly because you feel in the earth, that's your impulse na this is also the advice that's best for that person. Ang tanong ko siguro is, sa dami ng naririnig namin ngayon, how can one actually receive the right advice para magbago na ako? Before I go to something more personal.
Maraming framework, maraming models, right? Our goal is not to be able to read everything and make sense of it. I always believe, and this is, maybe the romantic side of and I'm not trying to romanticize it, is when you go to a bookstore, for example, you pick up a book, right? Parang accident yan. There's a reason why you picked up that book. Kasi when you open it, it's talking to me. But in truth, if you open another book, it's gonna talk to you, right? Because like you look for the framework that will talk to you. You're looking for the evidence, right? That's gonna talk to you. So to me, I know because of my study, right? So I've basically explored a lot of models and frameworks. But I realize whatever it is that I choose, for example, for a particular context, o ito sa context na to, pwede sila magbago, nire-receive eh. Kasi kailangan ng head brain natin ng isang intelligent framework to make sense.
Yes.
But it's our heart that makes meaning.
True.
Diba?
It anchors, it roots, it clarifies, it feels this is mine.
Correct.
This is the advice that's for me.
And parati, kaya nga feeling ko, the more intelligent person is the person who's able to just read the meaning of accidents.
Okay.
Diba? Parang coincidence, accidents, whatever that energy is. But if you're able to pick it up, some people will just shove it, okay, it happens, and ignore it. But some people will really say, oh, that's an accident. I wasn't intending to receive that wisdom, that message, but somebody said that. I'm watching Netflix, for example, and in that dialogue, I picked up a line.
Yes.
It's an accident, right? I mean, there's no intention there. But if I use that line to help me make sense of what I'm going through or make meaning, then I grow.
Yeah.
So yung mga tao na nakaka-pick up ng mga accidents ito, nagbibigay ng meaning. Di ba? And mas siguro bibigyan nila ng kahulugan yung mga questions na ina-ask nila.
I agree. I think it's time for people to realize na what if I stop thinking that I know it all? Kasi ang daming, I mean, come on, we also still are or parang victims of the know-it-all mindset.
That's the ego eh.
The ego, right?
Yeah.
Na parang, actually, if you allow yourself to be a student and you're just open, the answers come in many forms. And like it's a Netflix line that's shared by a certain actor that just resonates with you and just stays with you. And that's why when you said earlier, I agree with that, no? There's just something that draws you. And whatever that is, come closer to it. And maybe that's the answer that you're looking for. Coach, you're known to be the woman on fire, right? So looking at your profile and for others who haven't yet known more about who you are, Coach Cherry is indeed a transformative speaker. She was able to coach and train a lot of people, thousands of people, not only in the Philippine stage, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, kundi even around the world. So, ang dami mo ng countries na puntahan. To be honest with you, paminsan kasi when you're a Filipino, let's be honest, sometimes meron tayong imposter syndrome or meron din tayong inferiority complex. But one of the things that I am very aware of your energy when I meet you is that you seem very confident. How does one person, this is not anymore much about the transformation. It's more about notes coming from a colleague to another colleague. How do you get that courage to be a Filipina with your beauty and your natural skills, your nationality, and speaking to a global stage where they favor maybe mostly that sino yung, of a different race, but you went there. You were actually applauded for something that you've done in that event. How can one, a Filipino, be able to step up into the world and like, this is me, and have a story and and ideas to share, and this is something that it's worthy for people like you, whoever you are, to listen?
Because I think it's who you are at the end of the day, right? Whether you are Filipina, Singaporean, American, Indian, it becomes irrelevant. At the end of the day, we are all human beings here. I will always anchor on that narrative.
What narrative?
That it doesn't matter if I'm Filipina, if whatever my nationality is, it doesn't play, wala siyang connection, wala siyang bearing. Thank you for that word. Wala siyang bearing sa narrative. If you wanna help people, if you wanna share your gifts to people, we are all human beings with our faculties here and our organs and our body and our spirit, and it is our responsibility. It's not just an invitation. It's our responsibility to share it to the world.
All right.
Now, the confidence, of course, comes from repeated anchor. I will always anchor myself and think of, when was that last time where I experienced an extreme sense of confidence, and I will repeat the visual, the audio, the feeling, and bring it to a time right now that I'm feeling nervous, right? So that's anchoring.
Yes.
I'll always do that. So if I would have a session or I will speak on stage and I'll be a little bit intimidated by a audience I perceive to be unresponsive or resistant,
yes,
I will always think of I was able to do it. And if it's possible last time, it's possible now. I have the skills, the confidence, and I have the message and the love and the care to make it all work together. So why am I even worried when there is this group of people who are all rooting for the success, right? So I will keep on telling myself that
Okay.
to anchor that.
So sa mga hindi I totally get that. That's super good. So for other people who wants, okay, I totally get it, but also what does that mean? What actually Coach Cherry is trying to say is, you can reframe what your assumption is na, ay baka they will not get me because, baka ito yung assumptions nila. What you're saying to us earlier is, it's possible for people to anchor on your most confident self, because you can access versions of you to this very moment so that you can serve best who you are, what is needed, so that you can be effective at this very moment. Tama
Exactly. If it's already happened in the past, it's already who you are. So you've got to just present it and do even better, right?
People get imposter syndrome.
Okay.
According to there's this kasi I always go through imposter syndrome, Cherry. No, I have all of these intentions to help and serve somehow. Now, medyo I'm already elevated. I'm already past the stage na parang I'm fearing I'm doubting myself to the point na maybe I'm not going to. This is not the direction. I'd rather be a businessman, but I'm going towards the direction. But then again, we all, when you're getting closer to the person you want to be, there's like, wait, I might not be, because I have all of these flaws. I have all of these evidences. And the people who knows me really, like people in my childhood, can raise up those flaws. And for you, your evolving higher self wants to choose that I am better, bigger than my past. How can you manage in a very, in a quick manner, how can you manage imposter syndrome so you can finally be transcending to the person you're meant to be?
I think take out the guilt, or believe that you deserve it, right? And that you are a blessing to this world. I mean, so many people are go through imposter syndrome. We would have those moments, especially when we have chosen a career where there will be people who will aspire to be in that state, in your present state. You'll probably be visited by imposter syndrome attacks, right? If there's such an attack like that, where in the middle of the night you're gonna say, for example, I'm really just pretending, but I'm not really this person. And that's all part of the journey, right? When you start to be internally conflicted, I view imposter syndrome as positive than negative, because it's a time for you to ask yourself, is this who I am? And hopefully, if the answer is yes in your search, then it just validates, diba? It validates na, this is who I want to be. You need to have those pauses and those doubts to be more confident. How can you be confident when there was never a time you doubted yourself?
I like that.
Yeah, so it's just a phase. It's just a phase. We will always question who we are because we don't even know who we are.
Yeah.
And then we will always be afraid because we may not have the skill or the stamina to sustain it. Yeah. And we may fail people who are looking up to us. But isn't that generosity? Right? That awareness that you don't want to bring people down. And ang isa pang power ng imposter syndrome attack, I'll call it attack to. Isa pang power niya is then you become more fighting spirit. Ay hindi, ganito ako eh. So I'm gonna try my best, my darndest best to be this person. So you study more, you fight, you learn more, you put yourself in a situation, in a deliberate situation where you could prove to yourself, kaya ko talaga eh, magaling ako eh. Kasi Ralph, magaling tayong lahat. I mean, I'm gonna put a bit of religion here. We were made in the image and likeness of the greatest being. Yeah. It is such a malaking pagkukulang on our part. No, we're gonna shortchange the great creator if we are not behaving the way we were created to become. Diba? So, dapat wag tayong tamad. That parati hinahanap natin. Kasi di natin naiintindihan kung ano ba yung image and likeness ni Lord. Pero, I'm sure, and 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 where we are here, we will always be in a journey where there will be people who have been who we look up to. These are our ancestors, right? And so you're never gonna be the best. There's always gonna be people who are better than you, and so you look up to them, and that's humility, right? And to learn from them. We stand on the shoulders of great ancestors. And our children and the people that we train, the young ones, are standing on our shoulders. And hence, they could see better. And they have to learn faster. We plant seeds we'll never see become trees. But we still plant the seeds.
Ako, iyak ako sa mga ganyang mga sagot, Miss Cherry.
Pero di ba, gagawin pa rin natin siya kasi generous people tayo eh.
Which drives me to this point that generosity is coming from the abundance of our hearts because we just care that the very point that we will never see, we might not see the reaction of the people or how these seeds we planted change the lives of the people. We never got that validation because somehow we look for validation that I did the right thing. But for you to just spread out those seeds with no expectations of a return, but because of the generosity, as you said, of your heart, provides you with the realization that imposter syndrome is really just a human experience. And it's okay.
It's okay. We need it so that we will not be arrogant, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Because we need to be grounded.
Yes.
God finds ways on how to put us back to earth. And I'm always a victim or always I always feel that na parang medyo nagyayabang ka na. Maybe it's time for you to see that it's reality is different and you need to stay on this kind of state so that I can command you and you can still follow me.
Yeah, yung confidence versus arrogance, for example, diba? If you look at the raw energy and the raw skill, it's the same. It's coming from the same. I'm able to put myself out there on stage. You need a little bit of arrogance, diba? I mean, I don't know. We call it confidence. But, diba? Some people will say, I cannot merchandise myself. I cannot sell myself. So I won't be able to put myself out there in the stage. But we need to be able to, whether that stage is a real stage or that stage is my boardroom or that, we have to share it, diba? So we have to take space. We have to take the space, that stage. Diba? And sometimes, diba sabi nila, minsan kailangan mo maging mayabang para pero I call it confidence. But kayabangan kasi and confidence are coming from the same raw energy and raw skill.
That's true.
But the intentions are totally opposite.
Can I also add, Coach Cherry, that's true, no? Our intentions are what brings us to a direction of how we want to command the stage. But at the same time, integrity as well gives us that parang source of, even though, kasi we try to, according to James Clear, the book, Atomic Habits, it says that your small habits vote the person you want to become. And that very moment, kasi sometimes, like for example, as a leader of a company of my people, there are times that I doubt myself because when I say come early and then sometimes I don't come early. You say you do this, and sometimes I'm also at fault with that. But then again, you have this micro votes of yourself along the way that allows you to have a say. Now, you know what? My dignity and my intentions make me this stage, gives me this stage to tell you it can also be like this, whatever that's your intention on that stage. I mean, is that...
Yes, I mean, at the level of intention, we're so pure, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I do hope that intention to hurt, we are all positively intended kasi even when you're hurting people, there's a positive reason why you're doing it.
Might be, yeah.
You just don't have the right resources to express it. Diba? So sometimes people do bad things.
Coach, I have a question. Right now,
Shoot.
a lot of people will say na itong si Coach, talagang a person I'd love to listen to for hours, and she's one of those people na can be my proponent to change, especially with the programs that they might get. You also have your own podcast, you have all of these things, no? Coach, was there a time you're a woman on fire that you also did lose your fire, as most especially on recent times. Kasi we do lose our fire growing up. It's a journey. But then again, does a woman on fire also lose their fire?
Definitely. I hope, no, looking back where I am right now, that I have given myself the chance to lose that fire and be kind to myself also. But there were many moments. I mean, ang unang kalaban ko, katamaran. Lalo na, Ralph, matanda na ako, di ba? Parang I would always justify it as, I don't like naman to achieve that thing eh. Kasi di ba parang, why am I gonna, crucify myself and work so hard when
Yeah.
I could just relax and I'm okay right now.
And also have your own self time, no, self-care, especially
Self-care.
nowadays. Oh.
It's a different. So it's just a different kind of fire. No, it's not the wild high voltage fire energy. It's really just a calm fire that's deciding to just flicker a little bit like that. So there's still fire there. Our fire naman kasi, we cannot totally lose it eh. I mean, it's just there. It's lumiit lang o lumaki or whatever, diba? So I think what I could say with confidence, what I have right now are the tools to bring back the fire. That's most important eh.
It's so good.
Para ka lang may screwdriver, di ba? Kapag may nasira, kaya mong ayusin. And so I will consciously, every day at least I will do it, is to really sharpen the tools so that it becomes part of my automatic programming. So that, okay, sige. Kunwari, let's say, for example, nainis ka, pero may tool ka ng state management and state awareness, and then you're able to say, okay, reframe. Hindi ko ka na sabihin sa sarili ko mag-reframe ka. Automatic na, you're able to see the other frame. So, di ba, your perspective just widens eh. Automatic yan eh. Kasi ginagawa mo siya everyday. So, master the tools. Have an awareness of the principles. But what are you gonna do with the principles? You cannot eat the principles. That's gonna make you a better person. You need to be able to translate it. And there are tools that's able to help you express it. You go to intentions, for example. While people are positively intended, people will not judge us with our intentions kasi it's invisible eh. People will always judge us according to our behavior. The expression of our intention, which could be bad behavior, expressed from a good intention. Right? So,
if only you know how much you're changing or altering my how I think right now. It's amazing, to be honest with you, and I hope people get to understand. What you're trying to say kasi is we live automatic lives. That's why every day seems like the same day. And that's why it feels like when you say the subconscious mind takes over, it's like 90% and 10% us. That's why because it has a purpose naman din eh, because it's more of energy management.
yes.
But what you're trying to say is, no, in the quest of change, para gusto mo magbago, ang gagawin natin is to realize na most of what we do is automatic. And it happens na napapagod tayo because we're human. We lose our, nauubos yung tangke natin, nauubos yung ating inspirasyon, nauubos yung lakas, and kailangan na magpahinga. It doesn't mean na yung fire mo, to be the person that you're meant to be, nawawala. It just needs to be properly lit up again. Kasi even fire needs some time to rest. So
Yes.
that it can even burn even stronger, especially in the moment it's called for.
And for fire to realize its mission to brighten the room, it needs to go through darkness. I mean, that's very metaphorical, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we would read that and all, but it's very true eh. Parang how could the girl on fire could be a branding? I mean, at the end of the day, I witnessed so many darkness inside my cave also that I'm able to resonate well with, with the tools, for example. Or you've been part of people's narratives. You've listened to a lot of stories so that you're able to understand them. I mean, the darkness is still part of the hero's journey, right?
And I hope people get to embrace that. Kasi people are scared now. Dang, this darkness that is overcoming me is, see, I am not meant for this.
Alam mo, minsan nga, I will always tell my people, my job as your leader is to give you problems.
Wow, okay. Okay, good point. Okay, what does that mean?
Eh kasi, di ba, parang, okay, the basic principle, momentum yan eh, di ba? If you kung ang ball nagmo-move from A to B pero straight line lang, mabagal. Pero pagka may valleys and may mountains, mas mabilis yan, di ba? So, as leaders, for example, you don't want your people to be complacent. Diba? And they will complain and rant about the problems. I know that. I mean, I will complain and rant about problems
Yeah,
too, right?
naturally.
It gets very tiring. Pero pagka wala ng problema, kapag naayos na, lalagyan ko ng problema. Kasi kailangan ng problema eh. And it's not easy to appreciate. But in truth, I mean, looking at our future self after solving the problem, we feel so much more proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we know we're closer to a higher version. But we will never know that until we get to the end.
Love it.
Yeah.
Kailangan ng problema
Kailangan.
para tayo magbago. Kailangan ng problema para tayo to wake up. Kailangan na magbago so that we can move forward.
Yes, correct. But then,
And people resist problems.
sorry,
They resist problems, diba? Pero this mindset is actually an amazing thing.
diba? Bring it
Because
on.
obstacle is the way.
Yes. Interferences, that's part of the journey eh. Kaya nga, I go back to what I told you, anticipatory mindset. You
Anticipatory.
need to anticipate. Okay, I'm gonna go to the biggest sales pitch of my life. So now I'm gonna write, whether it's in my mind or in the,
Yeah.
what are the problems I'm anticipating? Kunwari, si Lorenzo, titingnan ako, i-resist ako. Ililista ko yan eh. Magdadrag yung presentation ko. Hindi ako. Then, you list that, and then you come up with ways to make sure it doesn't happen. Okay. So, if Lorenzo is going to intimidate me, how can I develop more affinity and rapport with Lorenzo? I'm gonna put it as part of my plan in the sales pitch. Diba? That's anticipatory eh. You don't just put yourself in a stage and expect things to just go right because there are so many variances you cannot control. But when you anticipate, then you are, diba?
And karamihan sa atin, coach, no, ang dami sa atin na parang, ay, hindi ka positive mindset, negative mindset ka. Kasi you're always looking at what's wrong. No. Anticipatory mindset, you want to be real. And you want to be strategic. And you want to be effective. And you want to see what's going wrong, what could go wrong, and what could limit, what could be the hindrances so that we can reach the positive impact we want to make.
Yes, we can prepare. Diba?
Galing,
We can
galing,
plan, we
galing.
can prepare. That's all part of it. In a presentation, I do a lot of presentation
Yes.
seminars, and I will always ask them, you spend so much time, maybe 90% of the lead time decking up, doing your PowerPoint, making all of those animation, and they're great because people are visual learners. They want to see great presentation. But do you prepare, yourself? The mechanics of speaking. Do you practice your slide? Do you time yourself? Do you practice your rapport building skills with people? Because these are important things. And minsan nga sa isang presentation, magaling ka lang mag-rapport kahit 5 minutes lang presentation mo. Ano na eh, diba? But we don't prepare for these things.
Coach, I'm just gonna dial down and really go personal again. Kasi currently, you seem again, as what I've said earlier, you seem to be a woman with answers. Also because you're a coach. That's exactly what you're natural with. You solve problems. One of the questions I'd like to ask is there a time of your life? No, wow, I have these gifts and skills and talents to change other people's lives. There might be one person along the way that you might not be able to bring your fire to, and someone that is very important at the same time.
Kung meron. O ang question, ilan? Marami.
Marami.
But if there's an important person, I think it's myself. It's myself.
Okay, wait. Wow. Okay, go ahead.
I am thinking my husband, my kids, may mga fails ako dyan eh. Sa husband, sa kid. Kaya it's very difficult to be a prophet in your own land.
I know. Parang di pa paminsan, di ba, transformative ka? Bakit yung nagawa mo? Wait.
Sabi ng anak ko is going through major stress preparing for her exams for college. Saying na parang, Mom, di ba you're a coach and you teach people to manage stress? So why aren't you teaching me to manage? Do I need to pay you for you? Which means it's a feedback. I'm failing as a mother. And if I reflect upon it, the reason why I'm failing, why she's giving me that feedback is because I just don't have time at home right now because I'm just so busy with work. Typical
mom, busy mom problem.
Guilt,
Yeah.
right? Typical mom problem, mom guilt.
Yeah.
But it's a feedback that, I'm not effective at home. And I'll joke about it and I'll teach her, but then I would feel, and I don't
That's
know
on
if it's real on her, but I have a feeling that she's resisting whatever it is that I'm saying, and she's telling me, please don't therapize me. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Don't, you don't need to tell me what to do. You just need to listen to me. So that's when I'm failing, right? Because like I'm making my child my client when I should just be a mother. So that's a failure. With my husband likes to play devil's advocate, and I love his feedback. But at the moment that he is presenting the feedback, I don't really take it so well sometimes. So that's also. But I think it's really myself. Maybe imposter syndrome. We're back to that. But I would have that feeling that I'm not able to inspire myself, or I'm not able to be a better friend to my friends, or when I become know-it-all. Because you were saying, I have so many answers to these questions, and I say it with so much passion and so much confidence that it feels like that's the right answer, when that was not my intention, right? I'm really just burning with fire to share, and people will perceive that as, okay, you're telling us what to do versus, just trying to leave an insight there. So these are
Kasi we're notorious fixer.
yes,
Sometimes we're like a hammer is looking for the nails
correct,
to hammer.
correct.
But then sometimes iba paling atake to make it stable.
And you're very right there, Ralph. And I will always remind myself that I did not become a coach to rescue people, because people don't need any rescuing. They know the answers, eh. They just don't want to listen to themselves, or their problem is just way too, the noises in their head are just way too extreme for them to listen to the answers, but they know the answers. And so we need to just help them find the answer. Kaya nga, facilitator lang tayo. We facilitate the process. We know the process. They don't know the process. We facilitate the process so that they could come up with the answers that they already know.
Maraming mga tao ngayon na coach, no. Thank you for being honest and sharing reality. Kasi sometimes, coaches can be seen perfect people. The truth is, they're as flawed also as most of us, because they're all also in the process of becoming. But what's really great about you is what you said, that I'm learning. I'm also using feedback to improve myself, because heroes sometimes, diba, they're the warriors a child, sabi nga nila. They're just doing their best, and they're here if they're healers, they're doing their best to heal. And I like also what you said, na parang our job is to facilitate space. Kasi ako, I see myself somehow, parang yung job ko, I feel so much empathy about other people's struggles. Na parang hindi ko sila mabibigyan ng solusyon. There's something wrong with me. Sometimes, right? Pero I think people who care so much should be liberated by the idea that their best job is not to change other people, because you can't. Only God can. That's how I see it. But you're God's instrument at the same time. And our best job could be providing that space for healing, because you were given that gift to provide that safe space, and that hopefully they will. And if you don't, you rest to the idea that you've tried, you did your best in your humanity and all.
Perfectly said. It's really perfectly said. One of the things, Ralph, I also want to share is, in life kasi we don't play, we play many roles in different contexts. So, like, I'm a coach when I'm coaching, but when I'm with my team, I'm hardly a coach. I am their leader, right? I need to
You're a boss.
tell them what to do. I need to command and control, which I'm trying to minimize. So that's very difficult, because we were raised in that. I mean, we're not the same age. I was raised in that management technique, right? So I play many roles. I could be a teacher, I could be a mentor, I could be an awakener. So I could be so many roles here. Coaching is just one of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard, no? It's hard to be just a pure coach. But
it is.
I think that genuine mission to help people, if that is going to be your guiding spirit, then it's hard to go wrong.
Coach, this will be my last question. But before that, I'll just say this. No, there's one of your students who says that you changed her life the moment you said onto her to stop catching butterflies, but creating a garden and attract people instead. And she said that you're the person that if you want to break through and unleash your passion itself, she is the one because she lives up to her title, the girl on fire. All my interactions with her fired me up and made me feel that nothing is impossible. Just want you to know that your people, the people that you affect, sees you as a igniter, like a matchstick. We're all candles looking for someone who'd give us a chance to be lit up, and that's your life mission. And you've lit so many people up, and you did lift me up in many ways. And this moment right here also did, not because you're like a coach, but because you're a real person sharing your story and your journey with us. There's a person right now, Coach, na this is our last question, no? Kasi our best one-day destination is I've done my all. I've used all my gifts. The moment I left corporate, you were in corporate before you left that all for the chance to be the person that you wanted to be. What is one thing that you would say in total reality without the need for frameworks? A person who's seeking for an advice so that they could finally just break through all of this that's stopping them, because I think that also was your state before. What would be that advice that you would leave? And maybe that could be at the, if you have a book, no, that could be at the forefront, a very personal note to someone who might need to listen.
I think it's just one word: believe. Believe. Claim. We all deserve to be successful. We were hardwired to be successful. Diba? There is nothing that our Creator would wish except for us to be successful, which we will define. I mean, people will define it in different ways. I mean, some people will say, I'm successful, lola, by taking care of my grandchildren. But at the end of the day, we are at the process of just trying to discover who we are and what's our great purpose, and enjoy that confusion. To believe that we will find the answer, to believe that we can do it, to believe that we are capable of doing it, and to believe that we deserve all the blessings and claim it. And in the process, to also be an instrument to make other people's lives better, to leave this world better than we found it. Then we become great ancestors. And that's our responsibility. So if we don't answer to the greatest, highest version possible for us, we are actually shortchanging this world, because we are not living it better, right? So pagka umalis tayo sa isang room, make sure that people will know that you arrived. Hindi lang umalis ka tas parang wala namang feeling. We have to believe.
Yeah.
We've got to really latch onto the belief that we deserve it and we can do it.
Love it so much. I think you're leaving here in this podcast room that we're in right now, changing me along the way as well.
Thank you, and myself. I mean, I'm gonna end my day feeling better, feeling more refreshed. Thank you, Ralph, for inviting me here.
Absolutely.
It's always been great to talk to you, right?
It is.
I mean, we have very few encounters, but it's always
Pockets
positive.
of experience.
Yes, so
Encounters.
thank you so much, Ralph, for inviting me, for opening up this space.
A healer to one, a baby healer to another.
Come on.
Ate healer, teach me the ways.
Ate healer, right?
I just want you to know na in my questions, a lot of us right now, younger people, well, you're still young, but people who are still seeking, we look for people who validates this very empathy that doesn't know its form yet. And seeing you allows us to see that there's a way. It's not something we need to avoid. It's just something that we need to, like, my gosh, people will not understand me. But because you're strongly held on to it, with all of humanity. I'm still failing, still not perfect, but this is my gift. It's my journey, and it liberates all of us as well.
Thank you. My goal in life is to be an ancestor, a good ancestor. And hearing you say these words to me, I think I can say to myself, sleep well tonight, and say, I think today is a good day for me. So thank you so much for that.
Always, always. Coach, thank you very much for joining our first episodes for Bold Souls. You're a bold soul indeed.
Bold souls.
Amen.
Bold souls. What got me in my journey right now is really just pure courage, right? And I hope courage makes you transcend kasi and transform. So I do hope we will all go back to our savage, original, raw being of being great, of understanding how we could make an impact to this world. We need to channel more courage so that we could express ourselves and not be guilty, right? And believe that if we are failing, and we will at times, it just means that the mission is not yet finished.
Mm.
And so have that courage to create. The word is create, right? I mean, not just courage to speak, but courage to create something so that we could leave this world, your world, better than you found it.
I love it.
That makes us a great ancestor.
So much. I love it so. What? You just keep on saying the right words.
We're not,
And I'm just loving it, and I'm embracing it.
we're never gonna end here.
Never gonna end. Creative courage also means kasi that it's not enough for you to be courageous. You have to create out of that.
We have to create. We're creating beings.
Physical manifestation of what you offer to the table. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cherry.
And thank
I
you
love
so much.
you.
Thank you.
See you
Likewise.
in March 1 to 4 in UP Diliman, and let's just make magic.
Yes, I am very excited to do that. I'm going to learn myself. I'm going to be a student there. So I'm going to come in empty. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching Bold Souls with Coach Cherry. And cannot wait to just learn more about her soon in NBU, and definitely catch her. Check her out on social media for more of Coach Cherry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are still starting in this journey, so if you do like this episode, we'd like to suggest you to hit like, subscribe, and share this to your family, to your friends, or to people who you think should hear this.